So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool, blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Hello, and a warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Weiner, your host for the show. What do we have for you this week? Well, we start with Alison's review of what's on in the area, and that will be followed with the answers to last week's quiz. We have a new contributor, David, a gardening expert, who will give us his tips on lawn care. We then move on to John Mallett, our local astronomer, who tells us what to look out for in the June sky. Our Mr. Quiz, Kevin, poses another set of brain teasers, and we will finish the show with two tasty recipes from our culinary wizard, Keith. Okay, so let's start the show, and it's over to Alison for a roundup of what's on in the area.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our What's On spot in Selsey and in Bracklesham. It seems that there are fewer special events this week going on at either centre, so I may highlight some of the regular events as we go along. On Wednesday the 15th in Selsey, we've got the Selsey Folk and Music Club. They're meeting this week at the Fisherman's Joy pub at 7:30. That's Wednesday the 15th. You can come along and just relax and enjoy the music, or you can join in playing and singing as you wish. All will be made very welcome. The entry fee is £2, and there is the ever popular raffle. That's the Selsey Folk and Music Club on Wednesday the 15th. The next day, on Thursday, there's the monthly meeting of Link. I believe that stands for Ladies in Contact. Their meeting begins at 7:15 in the evening at St. Peter's Church Hall. Their speaker is Sylvia Endicott, and she's telling the story of Butlins, who you may know have a site in Bognor. It's called One Man's Dream. That's on Thursday. On Friday, we have a regular event that also happens every Wednesday and Monday, and that's the Mobile Soft Play Session. That's for under 5-year-olds, and it's held on Fridays, Mondays and Wednesdays at the Selsey Centre from 9:30 until 11 in the morning. If you're interested, you need to speak to Sue or Tom. You can reach them on Selsey 604 642. One special event this week is a cream tea, which is being held on Sunday the 19th of June between 3 p.m. and 5. That's going to be held at number 19 Grafton Road, Selsey. It's a cream tea in aid of Sussex Snowdrop Trust, that's a tongue twister, the Sussex Snowdrop Trust, who support cystic fibrosis research. So that's a cream tea on Sunday the 19th of June. Now, if you need to work off any calories from a snowdrop cream tea, then why not head over to Bracklesham sometime this week? They don't have any special events on, but I am going to talk about two of their regular days. Every Wednesday at Bracklesham Barn, there's table tennis. You just drop in and play. That's for adults. It's held at the barn from 10 o'clock until 12 midday every Wednesday. Also on the 15th, there is the CBT motorcycle training, which will be held at Bracklesham Barn between 9 and 11. I don't know how that manages with table tennis, but perhaps they use different rooms. Also in Bracklesham Bar, there's something called Gyrokensis, which is held from 11 until 12. And then later on, belly dancing with step inside Bracklesham Barn from 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And then next up is short mat bowls from 2 until 4. In the evening, if you have any energy left, there's Zumba, run by Louise, and that's from 6:30 until 7:30. On a Thursday at the barn, there are Busy Bugs Toddler Gym, which meets from 9:15 until 12:15. That should wear them out, 3 hours of gym. In the afternoon, there's a Keep Fit class being held at East Wittering Village Hall between 2 and 3. In the Witterings Medical Centre, also on a Thursday, there's Stitch and Yarn. So if you'd rather have a more relaxed morning, that's the place to be, from 10:30 until 12:30. There's also a Knit and Natter being held at East Wittering Library from 10:30 until 12:30. This is all happening on Thursday the 16th of June. There's a Witterings Master Art Group, which is held between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. That's at the West Wittering Memorial Hall. And West Wittering also have short mat bowls. Now they meet 3 times on a Wednesday, from 10 until 12, 2 until 4, and 7 until 9:30. That's at West Wittering Memorial Hall. The lady to speak to is Maggie. She can be contacted on 673 231. There's a village lunch club on Wednesday the 16th at the United Reformed Church. If you're interested in that, you'll need to speak to Pat Hills. He or she is on 673 627. Back to the barn now. There's a kids' art group on Thursdays with Anita, and that's between 4:30 and 5:30. Then in the evening on Thursdays, there's a junior youth club. That's for 8 to 12-year-olds. That's held at the youth centre between 5 and 6:30. And then for slightly older ones, that's the senior youth club from 12 until 17 years of age. That's also held at the youth centre from 6:30 until 8:30. So plenty going on this week, even though we haven't got too many special events. So why not get along to one of the regulars, either at Selsey or Wittering. Bye for now.
Thank you, Alison. Now let's find out the answers to last week's brain teaser.
And here are the answers to last week's Kevin's Connection quiz. And Kevin asked us, excluding re-elections to the post, who was the UK's 13th Prime Minister since the outbreak of World War II? And that was, of course, Gordon Brown. Which famous lyricist is also co-founder of the Guinness Book of Hit Singles? That's Tim Rice. Which ex-model and ex-EastEnders actress who rose to fame in a famous booze advert played Dolly Closepeg in TV's Wurzel Gummidge? That was, of course, Lorraine Chase. Which UK Olympic gold medalist in 2 consecutive games also broke the world decathlon record 4 times? And that was Daley Thompson. In 1985, who duetted with Barbara Dickson in the song I Know Him So Well, and still the best-selling record by a female duo? That was, of course, Elaine Page. And in January 2009, which 80s pop star received a 15-month prison sentence on charges of false imprisonment? That was Boy George, of course. And the connection? Paper. Brown paper, rice paper, paper chase, daily paper, paper page, paper boy. That's it. Connection is paper.
We will now pass over to John Mullett, who will introduce our new gardening expert, David.
We now have somebody new to Manhood Internet Radio, and that's David Gaunt, who has been running a gardening business in South Manchester for the last 10 years and has now moved to Selsey. And he's starting up a new gardening business, G4 Ground Care Limited, and he's going to give us some tips on gardening.
Hello, this is David Gaunt, and I'll be introducing some gardening topics over the next few weeks and perhaps months. My first topic really is about the biggest feature in your garden, and probably the one that you spend the least time on, and that is the lawn. Today I really want to talk about just your reasonable lawn, your average lawn, not your bowling green, not your cricket square. The lawn that you and the family use every day. You want it to be reasonable, because in the end of the day, when you go into the garden, the lawn is the first thing you see. And if the lawn looks tidy and it looks cut, the rest of the garden will benefit from that. Hedges are the same, and later on in the year I'll be talking about hedges. So, a reasonable lawn. A lawn without bare patches. A lawn with not many weeds. A lawn with even growth. Not such tussocky growth. So how do you go about it? Well, the first thing to do is really mow. Mow frequently and mow regularly. Grass starts to grow at about 5 degrees centigrade, which down here on the peninsula is probably most of the year. It won't grow much in February, but certainly from March to October the grass will be growing regularly. And you want to start early. Start in March. Now grass grows quite quickly as it warms up. You want to be aimed to be having your grass at about 1 inch tall. 1.25 inches if it's very dry, but more of that later. So never cut off more than about a third of the growth. So once the grass gets to about 1.5 inches, mow it. In March and April, that may be once every couple of weeks, but certainly as we come into the summer, that really is going to be every week. It's a chore perhaps, but really to get that lawn looking good, you need to be cutting it probably once a week. Don't scalp it. One of the worst things you can see is when the grass grows long and you scalp it back down to its yellow. If you are away on holiday for a while, or you've had to miss the lawn, you have to trim it twice. Take a bit off and a bit more, just to maintain that about 1 inch growth. If you do scalp it, the problem you're going to get is you're going to get bare earth, which moss and weeds will invade, and you're also going to get the big thick tussocky grasses growing better. The fine leaf grasses that make up a good lawn will die off. So mow regularly, mow frequently, don't take more than a third off, and keep it at about 1 inch. Oh, and trim the edges as well. You might want stripes. Stripes really are just a roller rolling one way or the other. Grass has got a matte top side and a shiny bottom side. So as you roll it, the top side comes up the way that you're rolling. That gives you your stripes. You might not want stripes, but it does look a bit neater. The second thing is feeding. But you say, if I feed the grass, surely it's going to grow faster. It will grow a bit faster, but also the nutrients you put in, whether it's the nitrogen, the phosphate or the potash, will increase the root growth, which will save having to water it, and the potash will give that quality, give it a bit of a hard wearing growth. So you want to be putting a bit of fertiliser on. The fertiliser you buy from the garden centres and DIY places, pretty good. The problem is it is difficult to apply and it's very high in nitrogen. So what you get, very dark green patches if you don't apply it properly. If you can, borrow or buy a spreader or use a lawn management company. I'll talk more about those a bit later. But a lawn management company will put on a slow release fertiliser, which will mean that the fertiliser will be released over perhaps 3 to 6 months. Therefore you get growth, steady growth throughout the season, as opposed to a big growth as soon as you put the fertiliser on. So mow and fertilise. If you've got any bare patches or patches in the lawn where you walk onto the lawn each day or the children play football, spiking is quite a good idea. Get a fork, stick it into the surface and push it hard down till the actual top of the fork is level with the surface. That's provided it's not too stony. What that allows rainwater not to stay on the surface but to drain in from the roots. It also allows nutrients to get into the root growth area and allows a lot more of the air exchange which the roots will need to grow, because roots need air as much as a top growth and as much as we do. When it comes to watering, that can be a bit of a moot point. Personally, I'd rather grow the grass at a better quality than have to water all the time. Environmentally, do we really want to be putting on litres and litres of water onto our grass? I think we have to accept that down here the grass will go yellow if it gets very dry. It won't kill it. Grass is very drought tolerant, and as soon as it rains again it will spring to life. So the only times I would actually water is when if you put a new lawn down, whether it's turf or if you put a new lawn down when using grass seed. I prefer not to water. If you've got a very high quality lawn, maybe you want to, but the lawn that we're talking about, the family lawn, I wouldn't be watering it at all. Weeds. We're going to get weeds. They're blowing from our neighbours, they're blowing from the fields. You might actually want a perfectly weed-free lawn, but I think it's acceptable to have a few weeds in the lawn. If you do get a mass attack on the large areas of lawn with weeds, yes, put a herbicide on. You can either put it on with a spray bar or a sprayer, or if you've just got the odd weed, use one of the little hand sprayers, but don't saturate the plant. Weed killer is generally taken up by the size of the leaf, i.e. a big dandelion, big leaf area takes the herbicide up. All you want is a quick sniff of weed killer across it. If you spray it very heavily, it'll get into the grass and you'll end up with a yellow patch. So just a light application of weed killer. On a poor lawn, you're going to get moss. Often comes in where the bare patches are, where you've scalped it, or if it perhaps lies a bit lower. You can put a moss killer on, But if you get the grass growing properly and growing quickly, you'll find that the grass accelerates faster than moss, and the moss probably will die out. Where you've got bumps and hollows, you might need to reseed, or at least just put a bit of soil in there each time you cut the grass, just to build it up to its level. It will look a lot better. Lawn management. There are lots of lawn management companies around, and what would my advice be? My advice would be, if you've got a lawn you really want to spend a lot of time and money on, employ a lawn management company. The one proviso I would say, as I've found with a lot of my customers who do have lawn management companies, is that you will need to cut definitely every week. The fertiliser they put on, be it slow release or a quick release fertiliser, will grow grass. And there's nothing worse than having a garden where the grass is about 4 inches tall each time you come to cut it. You scalp it down to an inch, it looks yellow, it looks patchy, and basically you've wasted your money. The money that you've spent has all been carted off in the grass cuttings. By all means, use a lawn management company. You don't need to use them for the full schedule, maybe just 1 or 2 fertiliser applications a year, or maybe just a weed killer. But on the face of it, the customers I've got, I will just do the applications as I think needed. I don't do a full programme. So there we are. Probably the most important thing is mow regularly. Put a bit of fertiliser on. Spike the hard areas, the areas where the grass isn't growing very quickly. Water. Water really just for the new grass. And I think you should end up with a better lawn than you've got at the moment. Thank you.
Excellent tips there, David. And now back to John, who's going to tell us what to look out for in the night sky this month.
Hello, this is John Mallett with a look at what's visible in the night sky this month. Firstly, it's a full moon on the 20th of June, and with the very short period of darkness at this time of year, it makes observing distant objects like galaxies, even our closest galaxy Andromeda, very difficult. However, looking up, you can always spot satellites and even the International Space Station. So if you want to see it, and it can be very bright and easy to see on a good overhead orbit, take a look at a website, http://iss.astroviewer.net, and then click on the observation button. It's a very good website for finding out when it's passing overhead and when you'll be able to see it, and when the ISS is illuminated by the sun. Mid-month, it will be quite a good time to view Mars, Saturn and Jupiter. They're not very high up in the sky, so it needs to be quite late at night, maybe 11 or 11:30 at night. But they're all at about 20 degrees above the horizon. So if you look south, face south, then the left-hand bright object is Saturn. And if you look through binoculars, you should be able to see the rings at this particular phase of Saturn. And then if you look slightly to the right of that, still facing south, you'll see Mars. Now, some very good images of Mars have been taken, so if you do a search or Google Mars images for June, you'll be able to get some good pictures of that as well. Or you can look through binoculars and see the orange disk of Mars. If you then face west and look up at about the same altitude, about 20 degrees above the horizon, you'll see Jupiter. And Jupiter's been very visible for the last few months and very easy to see. This month's constellation has to be the Plough, Ursa Major, or Great Bear, or it's sometimes known as the Big Dipper, which is really a ladle with a handle and a bowl. If you face west and look up, you can see the 3 handle stars to the left and the 4 stars of the bowl to the right. This set of stars is famous for being used to find north. You take the 2 right-hand stars of the bowl and draw a mental line between them and extend this upwards, and the first bright star you see is the pole star, and that's north. This is also the point in the sky where all the stars rotate around. I'll be attempting to do some photography of the star trails this month, so keep a lookout on my website, which is www.astro.me.uk. If you need any help buying telescopes or setting up your telescope, please give me an email, john@astro.me.uk. That's all for this month. Hope you have some clear skies.
Now it's that time when we challenge you with another tricky test to tantalise you.
That's the last one. Right, hi, it's Kevin here with your weekly Kevin's Connection quiz. 5 questions. You need to know the answer to the question and what connects something in the answer. Question number 1. Which 1970s, 1980s pop band was made up of Gordon Sumner, Andy Summers and Stuart Copeland? Question number 2. Originally auditioning for the role of Hilda Ogden, which Coronation Street actress played a barmaid who is believed to have served more than 200,000 portions of her Lancashire hot pot? Name the actress. Question number 3. In 1925, Alf Roberts, a Lincolnshire grocer, and his wife Ethel Roberts had their second daughter. How did she become better known? A very famous person. Question number 4. Television. Which 1970s Northern variety show, compared by Colin Crompton, introduced the talents of Cannonball, Paul Daniels and the Grumbleweeds to the world? What was the programme called? And question number 5, a bit more highbrow. Willie Loman was the lead character in which Arthur Miller play, first performed in 1949. There's your questions. What connects the answers? Good luck.
Now time for more food for thought. It's over to Keith in his kitchen.
Right, welcome once again to Keith's Kitchen. We've got a couple of salad recipes for you this week. And the first one's chicken, cheese and rocket salad. And this is what we need, and this will serve 4 people. And we need 150 grams of rocket leaves, 2 celery stalks trimmed and sliced, half a cucumber sliced, 2 spring onions trimmed and sliced, 2 tablespoonfuls of chopped fresh parsley, 25 grams of walnut pieces, 350 grams of boneless roast chicken, and that's sliced, and 125 grams of Stilton cheese cubed, and a handful of seedless red grapes cut in half if you like, and some salt and pepper. And for the dressing we need 2 tablespoons full of olive oil, 1 tablespoonful of sherry vinegar, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard and 1 tablespoonful of chopped mixed herbs. And this was what we do. Wash the rocket leaves and pat them dry with a paper towel and put them in a large salad bowl. Add the celery, cucumber, spring onions, parsley and walnuts and mix together well. Transfer onto a large serving platter, arrange the chicken slices over the salad, then scatter over the cheese and the red grapes. And if using seasoning, well, use the salt and pepper. And to make the dressing, put all the ingredients into a screw-top jar and shake well. Alternatively, put them in a bowl and mix together well. And drizzle the dressing over the salad and serve. So, nice and simple. And the second recipe we've got for this week is also a chicken salad. This is Cajun chicken salad. And this also serves 4, and this is what we need. 4 skinless, boneless chicken breasts, about 140 grams each. 4 teaspoonsful of Cajun seasoning. 4 teaspoonsful of corn oil, and that's optional. 1 ripe mango, peeled, pitted and cut into thick slices. 200 grams of mixed salad leaves. 1 red onion, thinly sliced and cut in half. 175 grams of cooked beetroot, diced. 85 grams of radishes, sliced. 55 grams of walnut halves. 4 tablespoons of walnut oil. 1 to 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. 1 tablespoonful of lemon juice. Salt and pepper. And 2 tablespoonsful of sesame seeds. And this is what we do. Make 3 diagonal slashes across each chicken breast and put the chicken into a shallow dish and sprinkle all over with the Cajun seasoning. Then cover that and chill for at least 30 minutes. Now when it's ready for it to cook, brush a griddle pan with the corn oil, if you're going to use corn oil. Heat over high heat until very hot and a few drops of water sprinkled into the pan sizzle immediately. Add the chicken and cook for 7 or 8 minutes on each side or until thoroughly cooked. And if still slightly pink in the centre, cook a little longer, but make sure it's cooked. Remove the chicken and set that to one side. Add the mango slices to the pan and cook for 2 minutes on each side. Remove from the pan and set that aside. Meanwhile, arrange the salad leaves in a salad bowl, reserving a few for garnish, and sprinkle over the onion, beetroot, radishes and walnut halves. Now pour the walnut oil, the mustard, the lemon juice and the salt and pepper into a screw top jar and shake until well blended. And pour that over the salad and sprinkle with sesame seeds. Then arrange the mango and the salad on a serving plate and top with the chicken breast and garnish with a few of the salad leaves. And that's it. Nice and easy, very tasty Cajun chicken salad.
So, we have reached the end of this week's show. Thanks to all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mallett, our presenters Alison, John Keith and our new contributor David, not forgetting of course our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Weiner, until next time. Bye!